Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Solo730. No stuff. Yeah, we're live, baby. I don't like the way my OBS looks. Uh, all right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Yo, look. I know I'm not supposed to be going live to 9 o'clock, but I got daddy stuff to do today. I got to take one of my kids to the doctor, so I got to take a nap. I just got off of work, and I'm like, oh, man, I ain't even catch up on my cybersecurity news. I was doing some studying last night, so I ain't even catch up on the daily affairs. And I was trying to watch CyberWire on my way in. No, not CyberWire, simply Cyber on my way into work yesterday. And I don't know, my phone decided it didn't want to play it on the YouTube. So yeah, my phone was acting crazy. So I'm gonna have like 2 days of news to catch up on. Let's see if I got it. If I got it. So I was like, you know what? Let me just do like 10 minutes. It's 7:51 now. I want to at least do it till like 8 o'clock before I take my nap. Oh, why is my thing not popping up? I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my stream popping. All right, here we go. I'm sorry. All right, my stream is good. Stream looking good. All right. Let me see. All right. So, you know what I'm gonna do today? Since I'm short on time. I know we was doing on the last episode, first episode 001. This is episode 002. We had did some vibe coding, but we're not gonna work on that. We're actually gonna build off of that vibe coding, but not today. Today we are gonna look at some practice examples, some practice questions, comparing the difference between the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner, which I have, and AWS Solution Architect Associate, which I'm studying for. All right, so for those of you who don't know, there's 3 tiers of certifications with AWS. It's the foundational, which is the beginner, the bottom, the associate, which is the middle, and professional, which is the top. I looked at some professional questions. Yo, you really have to be a cloud architect using AWS on a daily basis to pass that test. There's no studying for that test. It's studying, but you actually have to be doing it every day to pass that test. So I'm studying for the associates. I already got my foundational. So the Certified Cloud Practitioner is the foundational cert. So I'm studying for the Solutions Architect Associate, which is the middle cert. So I just want to look at some examples. I actually cheated. I looked at these questions already. I had ChatGPT. I just told ChatGPT was exactly what I told y'all. And this is what it gave me. I don't like the way this looks in my OBS. Can't see better. All right. So this is example 1, cloud practitioner question. A company wants to reduce its upfront infrastructure costs and only pay for the compute resources they use as they run web applications. Which AWS cloud benefit best applies to this situation? A company wants to reduce its upfront infrastructure costs. So it's trying to cut money. It's too expensive. They don't like it. So from jump, they want to cut money. And only pay for the compute resources they use. Now, when they say compute, they're more than likely they'll talk about some kind of EC2 instance, whatever they're using, right? I don't know. They use to run web applications, so they're using it to run web applications. Probably is like an EC2, whatever. Which AWS cloud benefit best applies to this situation? Operational excellence. Operational excellence is a pillar. This is not a resource. Pay as you go pricing, high availability, and global reach. Pay as you go pricing. So basically, you're paying only for the stuff that you use. So that's one way to save upfront infrastructure costs. So you're not high availability. High availability is expensive, right? Because you're paying for more power. Sometimes that has to do with like cloud formation and multiple regions, which I spoke about in a short. And having stuff in multiple regions is expensive. And global reach is expensive. High availability, global reach. That means the bigger the better. The bigger the better. You get what you pay for. So it's gonna cost more money. And also, like I said, operational excellence is more like a pillar or a best practice. So pay as you go is your answer, because you're only paying for what you use. You know, they have different pay tiers. We actually might go over that one day. I wanted to start doing more questions, more stuff about actual AWS, in the AWS universe. All right, correct answer is B. Pay as you go. No architecture design required. Focuses on benefit, building model cloud, value of basic AWS concepts. Like I said, you only pay for what you use. Now, this is an example of a solution architect question. A company runs a web application on Amazon EC2 instance in a single availability zone. Can y'all see it? All right. I need to make my head smaller. Users report downtime when maintenance occurs in those instances. The company needs to minimize disruption and improve fault tolerance while keeping operational overhead low. What should a solution architect do? All right, you're a solution architect, right? A company runs a web application on Amazon EC2. I think that stands for Elastic Compute something. I forgot what the second C stands for. Instance in a single availability zone. All right, so real quick, available, like I said in my YouTube short, availability zone is inside of a region, right? So you have different regions. So think of a region as a state, and the availability zone is a city. So you have multiple availability zones inside of a region. All right. Users report downtime, when maintenance occurs in those instances. Now, when maintenance occurs, what they mean is when they patching, because you always got to patch your instances. If they want to change anything, routine maintenance, right? So when they got routine maintenance, users are reporting downtime. So they're not losing customers, but they could be losing money, right? Because if your app is not up, how can you make money? So there's downtime during routine maintenance. The company needs to minimize disruptions and improve fault tolerance while keeping operational overhead low. So we want to be able to, you still have to do the maintenance, but you don't want the downtime. So how can we fix that? So somebody hire you, like, yo, they give you this situation, can you help me? So these are your options, right? Move the application to a single larger EC2 instance.
Hello, Moto.
To a single larger EC2 instance. Wait, hold on, give me 1 second. I'm sorry I had to take that. I got, it's my kid's mom. I got a doctor's appointment today. All right. Move the application to a single larger EC2 instance. So basically just get a bigger EC2 instance, which is going to be a bigger problem because you're not changing anything. You're just making a bigger instance. So nothing changes. You're still going to have the downtime. It's just going to be a bigger down. It's going to be a larger, more expensive problem. So that's actually making it worse. Deploy the EC2 instance across multiple availability zones behind an application load balancer. Multiple availability zones. So you can put your instances in multiple availability zones without a much higher cost. It's when you go to multiple regions, it gets really pricey. And the application load balancer, right? So, all right. So say you have New York State is your region. Your availability zone would be New York City and Albany, New York, right? So when you're doing your maintenance, say you're doing your maintenance and it's affecting New York City, with the load balancer, it would take the your workflow and put all the workflow in the Albany section, which is still running because you're not doing maintenance for that part. And then when you're doing the maintenance for the Albany availability zone section, all your workflow will go to New York. So you always have one or the other up and running. So that's going to be the answer, but let's look at the other questions. Use Amazon CloudFront to cache traffic and reduce load. Nah, that ain't it. CloudFront is dope when you have like multimedia, you want to get stuff to different parts of the world faster, but this doesn't affect us right now. This has nothing to do with us. Host the application on Amazon Route 53 with latency-based routing. Route 53 got to do with DNS, and that's not going to help you. Correct answer, multi-AZ with application load balancer. All right. So those are the type. So let me see. I'm gonna make it smaller. Let me make it smaller. It's too big. So you might ask, what's the difference between these two types of questions? All right. With the solution architect, it's usually two parts. So it's usually two factors that you have to, that has to do with the question, right? So usually report downtime when maintenance occurs. All right. So you want to get rid of the downtime when you're doing routine maintenance, right? That's part one of the question. Part two, the company needs to minimize disruption and improve fault tolerance while keeping operational overhead low. Operational overhead is just keeping the price low. That's it. You don't want to do nothing that's super expensive. This is why you couldn't do A, because first of all, it wouldn't help you, and it's also more expensive. CloudFront, more expensive. Route 53 doesn't help you. So the answer was B. Okay? I'm going to have ChatGPT make two more examples. All right? Okay, let's see. That was cool. Can you give me two more questions? One of each type. Make the questions about the same topic. Let me see. Make the questions about the same topic. I'm going to share this with my WhatsApp. With my WhatsApp. I share with my WhatsApp because it's quick. All right. I share with my WhatsApp because it's fast. I also have to share with my Facebook. All right. This time, both questions will be on the same topic so you can clearly show how each exam approaches it. Let's use S3 storage and durability as the theme. All right, we're going to try not to look at the answer. This is the first question. So this is a cloud practitioner, which should be the easier of the questions. Not all the time, but it should be the easier, more, well, it should be the simpler. Simpler question, I guess? Yes. But just because it's a simpler question doesn't mean it's going to have the simple answer. But we're going to see. A company wants to store images in Amazon S3 and needs a service. It needs a service that automatically stores data across multiple availability zones for durability. Which AWS feature provides this capability? Multiple AZ replication in Route 53 that stores data across multiple availability zones, which placement Amazon Guard Duty. Okay. So oh shit, I look at the question. Fuck. All right. I look at the answer. All right. So the answer is B. But look, even before we get that far, you look at the question, right? This is how I did it, right? Amazon Guard Duty. That has to do with security. This much you know, right? You don't have to know everything about this stuff, but you gotta know what group it falls in. So this is more like monitoring. All right. Placement groups. A company wants to store across multiple availabilities for durability. Placement groups. I never even heard of that. So I definitely want to pick that because when I did my study in placement groups, I don't know what that is. No. It might be something found, no, theoretical, but it's not a service, which is not a feature of AWS. All right. So that leaves us with the top two. Multi-AZ replication and Route 53. Now, we know Route 53 got to do something with DNS, right? Now, it doesn't say nothing about S3. Now, you could host a website in S3, but this says that they storing images in Amazon S3, not hosting a website, not hosting a static website in S3. So, Route 53... which has to do with DNS. There's nothing in here that says anything about hosting websites or DNS. So, nah. Automatic multi-AZ redundancy built into Amazon S3. Okay. So, image needs to. So, automatically, I was going to go pick B anyway. Once you break down the wrong answers. It serves that automatically stores data across multiple availability zones. Automatic multi-AZ, multiple availability zones. The answer is in the question. Automatic multi-AZ stands for availability zone. Multiple availability zones. This is multiple availability zones. It's the same shit. It's the same thing. Excuse me. This is just shortened. Redundancy built into Amazon S3. Amazon S3, and that's how the cloud practitioner, that's why it has the simpler questions. Because all you really have to know is what's not the right answer. So, yes, B is the answer, because it's right here in the question. All right. Concept, see, it's conceptual, no architecture details, and focus on what AWS does. You know what I'm saying? Rather than how to design it. All right. So now, this one's for a solution architect. Okay. Now I keep looking at the answer. This one's for a solution architect. So now, you have the job, right? So now you got to go help these people. These people hire you to get this done. So that's how all the questions are asked with the solution architect questions. They asking you as if you're actually going to do it for somebody, for yourself, or for a company. So what would you do? Like, we need help. We need you to fix this. That's how the questions are fix-it questions. A company stores critical, let me see, can you see it? A company stores critical compliance documents in Amazon S3. The data must be protected against accidental deletion, including from administrative actions. The company also needs the ability to recover previous versions of files. Which combination of features should a solution architect recommend? All right, so I read it out loud. We're gonna read it again. We got to break it down sentence by sentence. A company stores critical compliance documents in Amazon S3. So they're storing documents in S3. It's something similar to like storing files, almost like, I don't want to say data because that gets confusing, but like images and stuff like that. You're storing it in S3. Now, S3 stands for Simple Storage Solution. Believe it's Simple Storage Solution. So S3, real quick, this is where you save all your data, right? This is like your hard drive. Wherever you want to store like images, documents, you throw them on S3. It's not like a traditional hard drive, because I think these are like blocks of data or something like that. The data must be protected against accidental deletion, including from administrative actions. So it gotta be, so like say I'm a new architect, right? And I get my hands on this S3, what they call a bucket, right? This S3 bucket. They need to be set up so that I can't accidentally click something and delete the data. Okay? So you have to have like fault tolerance when it comes to deletion, like multi-level for deletion. Almost like MFA, but for deletion. You know what I'm saying? Like I just can't click on it and I just can't click delete and it'll delete. No, can't do that. All right. The company also needs the ability to recover previous versions of files. So, critical compliance documents. So, previous versions of files. So, this is like, I guess, like, let's say previous version, like legacy files. So, like older files, if the file, those files changes, I don't know if file changes, but, older stuff. Which combination of features should a solution architect recommend? All right, now we know that answer's B because we looked at it by mistake. I should have been using this instead, like that, but I was using my scroll wheel because I'm lazy. All right, enable S3 cross-region replication and lifecycle policies only. Okay, cross-region replication. Okay, usually when people go cross-region, it's usually more like a backup. Replication. Like, this doesn't say anything about backing it up. Right? It says recover previous versions of files. But when they say cross-region replication, that's like more like a snapshot. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And lifecycle policies. Nah. Okay, so we know the answer is B. Enable S3 version, S3 MFA delete. Oh, look, I mentioned this, and I promise I ain't even look at the question. The answers. Remember I said accidental deletion is almost like MFA for deletion? Look, it's right here. Right here. When I learned how to take multiple choice question tests, I know a lot of people are bad test takers, but I'm not one of those people. I'm actually a better test taker than an actual knowledge person, because if you could get the answer or close to the answer or theorize the answer without looking at the choices, when you do go look at the choices, more than likely the choice that's what close to what you was thinking, your theory or your calculation, 8 times out of 10, that's going to be the correct answer. Because you already figured it out with critical thinking. So once you get to the multiple choice part, at least half of the questions is going to be ruled out. So at the very least, you can have a 50-50 chance. All right? So MFA delete. Multi-factor authorization for deletion. So I just can't come in and click delete or type delete and it'll delete. Like say you have to type the word delete. You type the word delete. All right. Okay. Well, before I even go that far. All right. Now it's 8:15. Only got like 5 minutes. All right. Multi-factor authorization. All right. So this is how it's breaking down. MFA is the one first thing is something that you know, right? So say you know your password, or you know the street you grew up on, or whatever the case may be. So whatever your password is, something you know, you put that in. Say your password is the name of your first pet, right? So something that you know. The second thing, something that you're given. So, all right, you put in your password, you go log into something with multi-factor, put in your password. Oh, my password name is my dog's name was Rufus. Rufus is my password. All right. They will send you something to your even your email, however you set it up, or your cell phone. They'll even text it to you or they'll send it to you in the email. Right? So it's gonna be some kind of passcode and you gotta enter it. Or it could be numbers, it could be a word, it could be a combination of both. So that's something that you're given. So multi-factor is going to be something that you know and something you're given. Now there's also another layer, something that you are. This is more like biometrics type stuff. So say like the phones. Remember everybody was unlocking their phone by taking a picture of their face and saving their face to their phone screen or to their phone, and then when you looked at the phone, it read your face and it unlocked. Something like that. That's something that's like biometrics. So it'll be like, all right, put in the password Rufus. All right, now look at your phone, and you look at your phone, and they'll also unlock through their app. Or maybe like a handprint. I used to do security at a company called Level 3, and to get to the floor, they had this thing, and you put your hand in it, and it read the lines between your fingers. You had these little sticks, and you put it in. You put it like it went up, like the sticks went up like this, right? And then you take your hand and put it in there like that, and it read the lines between your fingers, and it read your handprint. That's biometrics. So it's something so MFA is something that you know, something that you're given, or something that you are. All right, those are 3 letters of multi-factor authorization. So sometimes when you log into your bank, you gotta put your password in, and then they still gotta send you some kind of code. That's MFA. So you would need something like that in order to delete. So once you see something like that, that's automatically the answer. But we're gonna keep going. I know that was a little long-winded. I apologize. Store data in S3, one zone, 1A, and enable transfer acceleration. I never heard of that. Store data in S3. Store data in S3, one zone, 1A, and enable transfer acceleration. All right, transfer. Look at the end. Transfer acceleration. The camera also needs the ability to recover. It says nothing about being faster. It just saying have the ability to recover files and not delete. Unauthorized deletion. That's the key. When you see weird stuff like that, that's gonna be your key. So see, no, it doesn't say anything about working faster. Use S3 Glacier flexible retrieval and bucket. ACLs. ACLs stands for Access Control List. I just learned that. I ain't gonna sit up here and be like, yeah, ACLs. You know what I'm saying? I actually just learned that last week because I always heard it when I was doing my studying for this test. And then I went to do something in the S3 bucket. This is why you actually got to get your hands on the console or whatever you're gonna use, because in order to make a S3 bucket public, first you got to give permission to be public, but you also have to go mess with that access control list, and I guess enable it or something like that. I don't know how to phrase it, but you have to do both. You have to give the bucket public accessibility, and you also have to change the access control list to public. All right, but it doesn't say anything about changing the bucket to public, anything like that. Flexible retrieval, maybe. If you didn't know what glacial flexible retrieval is, maybe. But the bucket access control list, nah. Access control list would not have anything to do with accidental deletion. So the answer would be B. I know that was a little long-winded, and if I was taking a test, I would have did a lot faster in my head. But I wanted to explain the MFA thing because I've been wanting to explain that and I always forget. So why is this solution architect associate style? Requires understanding of protection patterns, not just concepts. Multiple features combined. See, that's the difference. Multiple features combined. Because when you're dealing with AWS or even Google, I'm learning, it's multiple things to get to your solution. It's multiple steps. It's be easier you could just go in there and just click something and voila, you know. Maybe like CloudFormation, but even then, you have to. It's still multiple steps you have to use before that, and multiple services and multiple features that have to be enabled or disabled. Applies AWS best practices for data integrity. Yes, remember I said S3 is where you put your data, right? Now, even though this is not a pillar of AWS or the cloud, when it comes to data, you always use the CIA triad, which is a cybersecurity thing. Hint, if you want to know about cybersecurity a little bit, CIA triad, confidentiality, integrity, availability for your data, right? They don't talk about that in the AWS best practices, and that's a cybersecurity thing, and it's a big deal. You have to know that. CIA triad. I made a video about it. Anything I got to do with data and integrity, that's the I. The I in the CIA triad. It don't got nothing to do with the CIA, like, law enforcement CIA. No. CIA triad. Confidentiality, right? Nobody has access to the data except the people who are supposed to have access to the data. Data's supposed to be locked down from everybody else. Integrity. Data integrity. That's the I. The data doesn't change unless the authorized people change it. So whatever I put in, when I go back, it should be, if I give you access, what I put in, the data that's there is the same data when you go in, you should see it if you have access. And then A stands for availability. Whenever you need your data, you're supposed to be able to get your data. All right? What's the use of having data if you can't access it? All right? So that's it. I just wanted to go over that real quick. I know it's a little long-winded, and somehow we end up doing 33 minutes. But yeah. Oh, wait, I didn't do the date. Today's November 20th. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, everybody. I know I was supposed to do that in the beginning, but thank you for watching episode 00002 of solo730 Know Stuff vlog, live podcast / vlog. Yeah, I could just sit up here and talk, but I'm not gonna do that because I gotta be on daddy duty in a little while. So it's 8:30. I think I gotta get up at 1. So I'm gonna get a couple hours, and then after I finish daddy duty, I'll take another nap before work. But anyway, thanks for checking out Solo730 Know Stuff live vlog episode 2, and I'm gonna put that in the comments. I'm gonna put that in the description. So thanks for checking out. I think I need to put like a thumbnail, right? I think I want to put a thumbnail because if I don't put a thumbnail, it's just going to use a picture of my stream. So that means every episode I have to have something different on. Like some days I just might want to have on a black tee. Like the only reason why I got this sweater on because I literally just came from work and just sat down, ate me a sausage, egg, and cheese, and say, you know what, we're gonna do a vlog because I'm pretty sure I wasn't gonna be able to do it at 9 o'clock. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. If you have any questions, any topics you want to talk about, leave them in the comments. I appreciate y'all. Wish everybody health and wealth. I'll see y'all next time. This was the difference between solution architect questions, associate, which is the middle level, and foundational questions, which is a certified cloud practitioner. All right, and then maybe one day we'll be going over the professional level questions, but that's not for right now. That stuff just make my head hurt. It's just too much. But yeah, thanks for checking out the video, man. I appreciate y'all. Later. I need to get my my stream deck popping. I'm so lazy. You know, all I gotta do is just click the button. It's all right. I'll use the mouse. I'm old school, baby. Later.